I can't believe it, I muttered, staring at the keys in my hand. After all these years, it's finally ours. Lara grinned, her fingers brushing mine as she held the small brass key. I knew you'd make it happen, babe. You always do, I laughed, a little nervous. Yeah, I guess all those late nights at the office finally paid off. My chest swelled with pride. This house wasn't just wood and brick. It was proof that I'd built something real. Something lasting. Ethan leaned against the doorway, hands in his pockets, a smirk on his face. Wow, it's nicer than I imagined. You really did good, bro. Thanks, I said, and meant it. But something about his tone made me pause. He was too relaxed, too casual, like he'd already planned how he wanted it. I shook the thought off. Come on, help me get these boxes inside. It's empty, but it's ours. As we carried things in, Lara hummed, scanning each room with a practiced smile. This will look amazing once we get furniture in. I can already see the living room cozy, but stylish. I nodded. Yeah, cozy but functional. Finally, a place where I can actually relax. Ethan lingered near the study. I'll check the locks. Make sure everything's secure, he said. I didn't think much of it at first, just appreciated the help. Later, as we unpacked, Lara pulled me aside. Hey, have you checked the safe yet? I think the documents should be inside. Safe? I frowned. Oh, I guess I haven't. I'll go look. Some papers were missing. Not all but enough. Hey, is everything okay? Lara's voice was calm, almost too calm. I don't know, I said. My stomach tightened. Some of the documents aren't here, she smiled softly. Maybe you misplaced them. We've been busy moving. I wanted to believe her. I did. But then Ethan appeared, leaning against the doorframe again. Who's that on the phone? I asked, noticing him muttering quietly into his phone in the corner. Just a friend, he said quickly, eyes flicking to mine. Nothing important. I nodded slowly. Something felt off, but I couldn't put my finger on it. Right, a friend. We finished unpacking in silence. I kept thinking about the missing papers and Ethan's secretive call. My excitement dimmed slightly, a shadow of unease creeping in. Lara placed a hand on my shoulder. Hey, don't let little things ruin your first night. We're here now. This is ours. Enjoy it. I forced a smile, but my mind kept wandering. Something was wrong, I could feel it. My dream house felt smaller somehow, like a cage hiding secrets. That night, I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling. Whispers from the living room doors closing too softly, muted voices, made my heart race. I told myself it was nothing. Just moving stress, but deep down, I knew the cracks were there. I just hadn't realized how deep they ran yet. I opened the envelope and froze. My heart pounded so hard I could hear it in my ears. This can't be real, I muttered. Lara looked over my shoulder, calm as ever. What is it? I waved the papers. These are the contracts. You and Ethan, you sold the house. You're taking the money. Everything I worked for. She tilted her head, that irritatingly sweet smile still on her face. I didn't mean for you to see it yet. We were just planning ahead. Planning ahead, I shouted. Planning to betray me? To steal my house while I slept? My voice echoed down the hallway. I swear I could hear the neighbors whispering behind their curtains. Ethan stepped forward, hands raised like he was defending himself. Hey, calm down. It's not like you're losing everything permanently. We thought you'd understand. We're family. It's for all of us. For all of us. I laughed bitterly. You mean for you too? You didn't even consider me. I felt my knees weaken. The betrayal cut deeper than I thought possible. Lara's voice was soft, but venom lingered beneath the surface. I didn't want it to come to this, but we can't wait forever. You're too slow, too cautious. We're just taking initiative. I shook my head, my hands trembling. Taking initiative. This isn't a business deal. This is my life. My home, my dream. Ethan leaned closer, trying to reason with me. Look, I didn't want it to hurt you, but you've got to see the bigger picture. Money moves fast. You know that. We're just being practical. I felt like screaming, but I couldn't. I could only stare at them, the disbelief rooting me to the floor. Practical? You smiled at me every day. Every day, I thought you loved me. Every day, I trusted you. Lara's eyes flickered for a moment. Guilt or maybe annoyance, I couldn't tell. I did love you. I still care. But love isn't always enough. We need security. We're doing what we have to. What about me? I spat, feeling the walls of my life crumble. What about my sacrifices? My nights without sleep? My endless work? Was that nothing to you? Ethan shrugged, like it was obvious. We're family. You'll understand someday. Just give it time. I laughed hollowly, and my voice cracked. Family? Family doesn't lie. Family doesn't plot behind your back. Family doesn't take everything you've built and throw it away. A neighbor, peeking through the blinds, muttered, God, that's rough. I could hear their whispering, and it only made my rage hotter. Lara stepped closer, her voice almost coaxing. I know it hurts, but this is better in the long run. You'll see. I shook my head, backing away. No, I don't want to see. I can't. I trusted you both, and now I don't know who I am anymore. Ethan tried to reach for me, but I slammed the door in his face. Alone, I sank to the floor, the papers scattered around me. My mind raced, images of their smiles, their promises, every shared plan now tainted. Looping in my head. The betrayal wasn't just financial, it was personal, and I couldn't breathe. I'm sorry, sir, but the court order is clear. The man in uniform held the paper like it was a sacred thing. You need to vacate by noon.
Ow.
My voice came out thin. You can't do this. This is my house. It's the legal owners right now, he said. I can't stop the process. Lara stood in the doorway, arms crossed, expression unreadable. We didn't want it to end like this, she said, but there was no other way. Ethan shrugged. We tried talking to you, bro. You wouldn't listen. I laughed, a short, bitter sound. You think I wouldn't listen? You sold my home behind my back and you say I wouldn't listen. I looked at the boxes already being loaded onto the truck. Neighbors stared from their yards. Someone whispered, That's brutal. A woman I knew from work stepped forward. You should just let them handle it, she said quietly to me. They're family. Her eyes avoided mine. Family, I repeated. The word had become a hollow thing. Is that what you call it? Later, sitting on the curb with a single backpack, Maya showed up. Hey, she said, and slid down beside me. I saw the truck. I'm so sorry. Sorry won't fix this, I said. My hands were numb. They took everything. My savings are gone, Maya. The bank account, empty. I have nothing. Maya clenched her jaw. Do you want me to call someone? A lawyer? A friend who can help? I don't know who to trust anymore, I admitted. Everyone's picking a side. Not me. Maya's voice was steady. I'm here. I've got your back. She hesitated, then added, There are ways to fight back. Quiet ways. Ways that don't show up on paper. Like what? I asked, though part of me feared the answer. You know, I work with numbers, Maya said. I can trace money moves. I can find mistakes. People get greedy. Greed leaves trails. I stared at her, the old anger flickering. You're not saying revenge? Not revenge like breaking bones, she said quickly. Smart moves. Exposure. Pressure. Make them feel what you feel, but legally. Her eyes were hard and protective. You deserve that? You mean destroy them? I whispered. The thought felt wrong and right at once. No, Maya shook her head. Make them answer. Make them remember that what they did had consequences. You don't have to become them. Neighbors passed, offering pity or judgment. A man muttered, shouldn't have trusted them. A child watched with wide eyes. Embarrassment burned my cheeks. That night, I slept in my car, the seats folding into an awkward bed. My mind replayed Lara's smile, Ethan's easy laugh, the nights we promised each other forever. Every memory turned to ash. I called my mother. They did this? She asked, voice small. Your brother my son? There was disbelief, then a tired resignation. I can't help. I'm so sorry. You won't leave them alone, I promised into the phone. My voice sounded distant to me. I don't know how yet, but I won't let them walk away. Maya texted a list of names. Accountants, a private investigator, a lawyer. Start with these, she wrote. I'll meet you tomorrow. Hope was thin, a single thread. But it was there. Rage burned under it like fuel. I hugged my knees and breathed. I'll get it back, I told the night. I'll get back everything they stolen. I'll make them pay for what they stole from me. I would not be broken by their lies. I would become the force returning them. I can't pretend I'm calm, I said, leaning over the cafe table. They took everything. I keep thinking about the contracts, the signatures. It wasn't an accident. Maya tapped her fingers. You're not pretending. You're planning. That's different. Tell me what you want to do. I want them to lose what they stole from me, I said. But not like them. I don't want to break the law. I want to expose, to punish where it matters. Maya nodded. Smart. Smart and cold. Good. Do you know their finances? Their partners? Anything that moves money? I've started watching, I said. Ethan meets a man at the coffee shop every Friday. Lara spends afternoons at a design agency. I followed a bank transfer once small, but connected to a larger account. I can't do this alone. You don't have to. Maya's voice was quiet. You have me. And I can help with tracing. She leaned in. But think, are you okay with becoming consumed by this? I looked at my hands. I don't want to be cruel. I want justice. There's a line. Lines blur when you hurt, she said bluntly. Keep your head. She pulled out a contact. I'll introduce you to someone. He's careful. Works numbers for a living. Won't ask why. A week later, I met him, Mr. Harris. Small office, tidy suit. He smiled like he'd smile at any client. How can I help? He asked. I need help understanding transfers, I said, sticking to the story I'd rehearsed. I'm worried about estate mismanagement. I just want clarity. His eyes flicked to my worn jacket and back. You sound sincere? Bring me any documents you have. I left a copy of a benign receipt and watched his expression. He didn't know what he was doing for me. He promised to look into patterns, unaware I was feeding him breadcrumbs toward Lara and Ethan's accounts. You sure about trusting him? Maya asked later. He's a number man, I said. He won't gossip. He'll find patterns. That's enough. My chest tightened. But sometimes I wonder, am I playing the same game they did? Using people to get what I want? Maya's reply was soft. We use tools. You're using brains, not knives. There's a difference. I followed Ethan one evening and heard him on the phone. Yeah, shift the fund to the offshore after the sale. Don't leave a trace. His laugh sent ice through me. I wrote names, dates, habits in a small notebook. Lara loved morning yoga, then calls with a woman named S. Ethan liked late nights at the club, a bartender who knew him by his drink. Little things like that formed a map. Isn't it risky? I asked Maya later. If they notice, they'll come after me. That's the point, she said. Make them panic. Careful, invisible moves. Pressure points. I rehearsed conversations, safe questions, the casual tones that would get people to talk. I became someone who asked the right things, who smiled and listened, who fed Mr. Harris small details and waited. At night, the moral argument replayed. If I exposed them, they'd lose everything. If I did nothing, I'd lose myself. The line between justice and revenge felt thinner every day. I won't enjoy their ruin. I whispered once to the empty kitchen. I just want it to mean something. Maya's text came in. We start Monday. Be ready. I folded the notebook and breathed. The plan felt possible now. Dangerous. Yes, but possible. I was building a quiet machine of consequences, and I would decide where it stopped. I'm surprised you showed up, Ethan said, leaning against the bar. Thought you were still sulking on the curb. I'm here for coffee, not to hear your excuses, I said. Don't act like you don't know what's happening. You really think I don't know? You look different. Angry, tired. It suits you. Save it. Stirred my drink. Why are you meeting Marco every Friday? Ethan's smile flickered. Business stuff. Mind your own life. Business. Business that moves money at midnight. Business that forgets to pay invoices until it's too late. He bristled. What invoices? You missed a payment last month that cost your partner a late fee. I saw the email chain. Watched him closely. Careful, Ethan. Small slips snowball. He leaned in, voice low. Watch your tone. You don't scare me? I don't need to scare you. I need you to stop pretending everything's fine. Later, Lara called. Have you been sleeping? You sound thin. Sleeping when a truck took my life away. I snapped. No, I've been working. Shouldn't be out stirring trouble, she said. People talk. That's their problem. Not mine. You always make things complicated, she sighed. We tried to help. You tried to help yourself. There's a difference. Oh. A week passed. I sent a quiet email from an anonymous address to one of Ethan's suppliers. Delayed shipment, wrong invoice number. The supplier wrote back, angry, asking for clarity. Ethan called, voice tight. They're claiming we missed the deadline. I don't know this is wrong. Should check Marco's file, I suggested over a drink, watching him pace. Small errors look like carelessness. You're enjoying this, he said. I can see it in your eyes. I'm not enjoying watching someone I trusted fall apart. I'm watching consequences happen. Ethan spat. Consequences? You sound like a preacher. A barmaid whispered something about a missing payment, and Ethan's face went pale. Who told you that? He demanded. Does it matter? I asked. You can fix it. Or you can keep pretending you don't care. Lara started calling more. There's gossip at the agency, she said. Clients ask me about delays. Where are these coming from? Maybe you should talk to your team. People notice when things break. This is childish, she said. If you have a problem, handle it like a man. I am handling it, quietly. At night I sat alone, the city lights sharp against the dark. I'd set small traps, a late invoice, a whispered doubt to a client, a tipped-off inspector complaint that led to a minor audit. Each move felt surgical, clean. Each move also cut a piece of whatever softness I had left. You're losing yourself, Maya said when I told her. You talk like a different person. Am I? Or am I the person who refuses to be stepped on? You can be both, she said. Don't let the revenge be your life. I watched Ethan argue on the phone, voice raw. We're fine. I'll handle it. Then to me later. You think this proves you something? You won't win. I don't want to win, I lied. I want to be whole. He laughed, bitter. Whole? You think money can make you whole? It's not the money, I said quietly. It's the truth. You're obsessed, he said. Stop. Maybe I was. Maybe I wasn't. The lies tightened like a noose around their days, and I kept pushing. Each small sabotage was a question. Could I finish this without losing the last of myself? I feared becoming hollow, but I felt alive again. I watched from a distance as chaos quietly crept into their lives. Ethan's phone rang nonstop, clients leaving angry messages. I smiled faintly, though unease gnawed at my chest. Was this satisfaction or something darker? Lara, did you see the latest report? Ethan barked into the phone, pacing the office. Our partners are pulling out. I don't know why everything seemed fine yesterday. Lara's voice trembled slightly. It's not my fault. Maybe you mismanaged it. Look at the contracts. Look at the deadlines. Deadlines. Contracts. You don't get it? This is on us both. Ethan slammed a folder down. His hands shook, betraying his usual arrogance. I leaned against the corner wall, pretending to scroll on my phone while taking mental notes. Their pride was dissolving, replaced by panic. I'd never wanted this level of suffering, yet it felt like a mirror showing them the consequences of their greed. Later, I passed Ethan's old apartment. Boxes were stacked in the hallway. Furniture scratched. A lamp toppled over. The place he bragged about 2 friends now looked abandoned and careless. Lara, Ethan muttered later that night, rubbing his temples. You should have warned me. You said things would stay smooth. I did. She snapped, pacing the room. But you never listen. You pushed decisions too fast. You ruined it. Ruined it? Ethan's voice rose. I followed your plan. We were supposed to be a team. I imagined the neighbors' whispers, the quiet glances at their crumbling image. Irony was everywhere. The perfect offices, the polished suits, and undone by their own mistakes. One morning, a courier dropped off a stack of returned packages at Lara's design agency. She stared at them, disbelief written across her face. Ethan, look at this. Clients are canceling. Do you understand? Ethan scratched his head, voice tight. I can fix it. You can't. She yelled. You can't fix anything anymore. I passed by that day and saw the receptionist rolling her eyes, whispering, this is bad. Really bad. My lips twitched. Their pride and neglect had created the perfect storm. Even their social circle was thinning. Friends who once laughed at my misfortune began avoiding them, citing vague conflicts. I overheard a conversation. I don't trust them anymore. Too reckless. Lara stormed into Ethan's apartment, slamming the door. Why didn't you handle the invoices? We could have avoided this humiliation. Ethan shoved papers toward her, voice sharp. I did what I could. You think I wanted this? You should have thought, she shouted. For once in your life, think. I felt the satisfaction bubble up again, mixed with a bitter taste. Was this justice or cruelty dressed as chance? By evening, Ethan's expensive watch sat abandoned on a counter, ticking quietly in the messy apartment. Lara's designer sketches lay torn on the floor. Symbols of their arrogance now lay in ruin. I walked past, nodding at the chaos, whispering to myself, this is what happens when greed rules your heart. Small steps, yes, but enough to teach them. Ethan's voice echoed faintly from an upstairs window. We're cursed. Everything we touch fails. Lara replied sharply, don't blame curses. Blame yourself. I smiled, turned away and whispered, blame themselves or karma does it quietly. I left before they could see me, carrying a quiet, conflicted satisfaction. The pieces were falling into place, and I watched the unraveling without stepping into the fire. I didn't expect them to come together, but there they were, Lara and Ethan. Standing at the cafe table where I sat pretending to read, Ethan's jaw was tight. Lara's eyes were sharp, calculating. So, Ethan started, voice clipped. Funny seeing you here. Late for work again? I managed my schedule, I said calmly, keeping my tone neutral. Unlike some people who forget deadlines and contracts, Lara's eyes narrowed. You've been busy, haven't you? Watching us. Making notes. Listening to conversations. I sipped my coffee. I noticed things. People make mistakes. I just pay attention. Hey, you enjoy this, she said softly, almost a hiss. Watching us unravel, panicking, flailing. Admit it. I don't enjoy it, I replied evenly. I observe. I learn. I wait for honesty to catch up with lies. Ethan slammed his palm on the table, startling a passing waiter. Stop talking in riddles. What do you want from us? Money? Apologies. Your house back? I want nothing from you, I said. I want closure. I want you to see the consequences of your actions without pretending anymore. You think you can play this game and stay clean? Lara asked, voice sharp. We could ruin you if we wanted. I leaned back, smile thin. Maybe, but I've learned patience is stronger than anger, and evidence is quieter than threats. You're not just come here mocking us, Ethan snapped. You don't feel anything? You've become one of us. I feel plenty, I said quietly. Pain, betrayal, disbelief. Do you think this is easy for me? My voice softened, just enough to hint at vulnerability. I trusted both of you. Every night I dreamed of a life with you, Lara, and Ethan, my brother. Lara flinched, a flicker of guilt crossing her face. We did what we had to. You'll understand someday. I understand perfectly, I said. You wanted comfort and wealth, even if it meant discarding me. You're being dramatic, Ethan said. Life isn't fair. Things move fast. You should accept it. Accept it. I laughed hollowly. Accept that my home, my savings, my trust were stolen? Accept that my family pretended to care while plotting behind my back? Lara's fingers trembled slightly as she reached for her purse. You're dangerous, she whispered. Maybe, I said, but I'm not cruel. I don't want to hurt you physically. I want you to face what you've done, to feel it in the small cracks, in the whispers, in the glances you can't control. Ethan's lips pressed into a line. And you think this makes you better than us? I shook my head. I don't know if better exists anymore. I know I won't become numb to betrayal. I know I'll survive it. And that's enough. Lara's voice softened, almost pleading. I didn't want it to be like this. You could have forgiven. Forgiveness isn't instant, I interrupted. It's earned. And you've earned the consequences first. Ethan's chest heaved. We can fix this. Just tell us what you want. You don't get to fix it, I said, voice steady. You get to live it. And I get to move forward. I left the cafe with my coat over my shoulder, calm on the outside, but inside a storm of triumph and lingering pain. I wasn't a monster. I was just a man reclaiming pieces of a life they tried to erase. I trusted Tom. We worked late nights together, shared cheap coffee and big plans. So when he walked into the room with Lara and Ethan, my chest dropped. Tom, I said, voice steady but small. What are you doing here? He looked at me with tired eyes. I heard things. I thought I could help sort this out. Lara smiled, relief softening her features. He knows people. We thought he could mediate. Ethan shrugged. Figured a neutral third party would make sense. I laughed, the sound bitter. A neutral third party who signs our checks. Tom's face hardened. I didn't come for money. I came because you're my friend. We needed someone who could talk sense into both sides. I repeated. You mean help them cover tracks? No, Tom said. I wanted peace. I wanted to get them to return some funds until things settled. Turn. I scoffed. You really believe that? Tom's jaw tightened. I thought I could calm this down. You calm things by telling the truth, I said. Not by helping hide the mess. Lara's eyes flashed. You're being dramatic. We're trying to avoid more damage. You avoid damage by admitting fault, I said. Not by smoothing it over. Tom looked between us. I didn't know you'd taken a hard line. I thought compromise would be better. Compromise. Ethan barked. You'd think he'd accept compromise after what we did? Tom flinched. Maybe not, but it's worth trying. I trusted you, I said raw. You were the one person I thought wouldn't side with them. Tom's shoulders sagged. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to save it. Stood, the cafe airtight. You're helping them right now. You're giving them cover. He swallowed. I can pull out. I can stop. You can't unsee what you already did. Actions mean more than promises. Later. Maya's hand found mine on the curb. He betrayed you? She asked. He joined them, I said. I misread him. Amaya's face hardened. People choose sides. That doesn't make them right. It hurts, I admitted. Not because he helped them. Because I misread him. And use it, Maya said. If he helps them, he becomes a weakness. People who think they help can leak everything. I can't believe I'd stoop that low, I whispered. Using a friend against them. You're not using him, Maya said. You're exposing what he already did. I watched them, Tom whispering, Lara nodding, Ethan laughing too loud. For a moment I considered confronting Tom physically, but my hands stayed still. So what's the plan? Tom asked later, naive hope in his voice. We can negotiate. No negotiations, I said. You walked into this. You belong to the problem now. Tom's face broke. I can stop, I said. Don't speak for them. You're the one who chose to be in this room. When I left, betrayal stung deeper because it was unexpected. The safest person had become the chink in their armor. I folded the new information into my plans and adapted. Tom's presence opened doors I hadn't planned to use. He would make them bolder, careless. He would slip, and when he did, I would be waiting. Betrayal teaches choices. I could rage or I could use patience, observation, and the knowledge that friends who aid liars make mistakes louder than enemies ever could. I'm not proud of the tactics I choose, but necessity carved the path. I will watch, wait, and strike when truth spills, clean and irreversible. No mercy left. I breathed and started rewriting the. I stood on the balcony across the street, watching the moving vans load Lara and Ethan's belongings. Boxes with designer labels, framed awards, and laptops, all of it destined for the auction block. I felt a strange mixture of relief and pain. This was justice, yes, but the ache of betrayal still lingered. Please, Ethan, maybe we can stop this, Lara whispered, her voice shaky as she clutched a stack of papers. They won't listen, Ethan snapped. It's over. We messed up too badly. I kept my distance, watching, pretending to read a document. Inside, I felt calm, but my mind replayed the months of planning, the nights of anger, the small victories that led to this moment. A neighbor walked by, nodding to me. Looks like karma finally caught them. I smiled faintly. Yes, it does. Later, Lara ran up to the auctioneer, waving her arms. Wait, you can't sell that. That's private property. These documents prove we're owed. They are yours no longer, the auctioneer said flatly. Ownership has legally transferred. Ethan slammed his hands against a wall. This is insane. How did it get this far? I leaned against a tree across the street, notebook in hand. They underestimated consequences, I muttered. Every choice comes back. Lara's voice broke. I trusted you. She shouted, though I knew she meant Tom and the false sense of security he gave them. You trusted the wrong people, I said quietly, watching as she sank to the sidewalk. Defeated, Ethan stormed over, shaking letters in the air. These statements are accounts. Someone exposed everything. Our partners, the transfers, the debts, everything. You should have thought of that before, I said calmly. Before betraying me, before stealing what wasn't yours. Lara's hands shook. We didn't mean for it to get this far. We wanted security, stability, security at someone else's expense. I interrupted. That's theft, not strategy. The auctioneer called for silence, and their prized possessions were sold one by one. Lara's designer bags went first. Ethan's electronics next. Friends who once admired them now lingered at the curb, exchanging sympathetic glances. You'll regret this, Ethan spat, glaring across the street. You think this makes you happy? I'm not happy, I said softly. I'm free. I'm watching justice unfold, and you get to live with the consequences. A letter fell from Lara's trembling hands, an anonymous note exposing every lie they'd told, every trust they'd broken. She scrambled to pick it up, but it was too late. Others were reading, whispering, judging. I felt a pang in my chest, realizing satisfaction came with sorrow. They were broken, yes, but the memory of their smiles, their promises, still haunted me. You'll pay for this someday? Lara hissed. Perhaps, I said, voice steady. But today you've paid enough, and I move forward. The moving vans left, the auction ended, and their social world crumbled into quiet embarrassment. I walked away, notebook tucked under my arm. Chest heavy with a bittersweet triumph. I had reclaimed my life, my dignity, and my dream. Yet the shadow of betrayal reminded me, trust, once broken, leaves scars that even victory cannot erase. The front door of my house felt different, that desolate, familiar, mine again. I ran my hand over the handle, inhaling the faint scent of polished wood and sunlight. It was quiet, peaceful. Everything stolen had been returned or replaced. And yet the weight of months of betrayal lingered. Maya appeared in the doorway, holding 2 coffees. Welcome back, she said, smiling softly. Feels strange, I admitted, taking the cup. To finally be here without fear or worry. You earned it, she said. And not just the house or the money, you earned your peace. I sat at the kitchen table, looking out the window at the garden I had once dreamed of. It's not just about getting back what was taken. It's about understanding who I trust, who I let in, how I react when people betray me, Maya nodded. And you're stronger now, smarter. You've set boundaries and enforced them. I had to, I said. I realized revenge isn't satisfaction unless it's tempered with fairness. I didn't destroy them completely. I didn't ruin their lives beyond repair. Karma has its way. A soft knock came at the door. It was a minor financial advisor who had helped me quietly, the one who traced accounts and spotted gaps. All clear, he said, handing me a folder. Everything's legitimate. They have nothing they can take. Thank you, I said, shaking his hand. You were discreet. You made a difference without knowing the full story. He smiled faintly. Glad to help. Enjoy your victory. Later, I called my mother. Mom, I'm home, I said. Her voice cracked with relief. I'm finally safe. You sound peaceful, she said. I'm proud of you. You handled it all with courage. I thought of Lara and Ethan. They had learned lessons in humility, in consequence, without me needing to act cruelly. That alone was enough. Maya sipped her coffee beside me. Do you think you'll ever trust again? I will, I said slowly, but carefully. I've learned to read intentions, to see motives clearly. Betrayal doesn't have to harden me into bitterness, but it has to sharpen my judgment. And love? She asked quietly. I smiled faintly, thinking of the past. Love will come eventually, but it will be wiser, steadier, and never naive. I've learned patience, reflection, and the value of my own worth. The sun was low, casting long shadows across the polished floor. I walked through the rooms of my home, each one a symbol of resilience. My savings, my possessions, my dignity, all restored. But more importantly, I had restored myself. Are you happy? Maya asked. I am, I said, voice calm. Not because I destroyed anyone, but because I survived, I learned, and I reclaimed my life. I can move forward now. Cautious, yes, but hopeful. I looked out the window one last time at the fading light. The past was behind me, the lessons etched into my mind. And the future mine to shape, mine to protect. Quiet satisfaction filled me. Justice had been served, closure achieved. And I had transformed, not just a survivor, but a man who understood the weight of trust. The sting of betrayal and the power